Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. Our voice is cracking early. It's Wednesday, but our voice is cracking. Welcome back to the Daily Grind, everybody. I hope everybody had a good Memorial Day weekend. I have my good friend Rusty Musty Buckets with me. We were supposed to do this yesterday, and then I decided to have technical difficulties. How are you, brother? How are you?
Well, I'm good. Live update. When you text me that you're having technical difficulties, I was walking out of the gym. I'd completely forgot. So it kind of worked on both ends. That I wasn't going to say anything until I got on air today. Just own up to the fact that I'm walking out of Crunch Fitness in East Memphis at White Station, and my phone buzzed. I looked down, it's Luke, and I was like, oh, God. And then I read the message. I was like, cool. No worries, man. I'll see you tomorrow. We're all good.
Man, that makes me feel better because I was like, it is almost, it's 7:45. I'm dropping the ball. I bet he's just sitting there. No. Makes me feel better.
Walking out of the gym, man, like I didn't have a care in the world.
That's so good. Well, I'm glad. How was the workout? Was it a good workout?
It was. Yeah, it was good. It was kind of a detox from Murph on Monday, which absolutely just snatched my soul. And so yesterday was more of just trying to move to make sure I could still move for the rest of the day. So yeah, it was a good workout yesterday.
Did you get to watch any hoops? Any Memorial Day hoops? It's weird. This is the first day we don't have hoops in like
a
month.
But we do have hoops tomorrow, which is nice because if it had wrapped up last night, it would have been 8 days without basketball. So at least we get another basketball game tomorrow night in what has turned out to be a really good series, even though 3-1 tells a different story, right?
Man, I was going to say the last time, I think, because before the series had started was the last time I had the show because I went on a little Memorial Day vacation and we were like, oh yeah, you know, T-Wolves, I think you said T-Wolves in 7. I might have said Dallas in 7, but we were like, it's going to be 7 games. It's going to be a long series. Yeah. And then I didn't have any service. And so when I was camping, I kept coming to get service. And I was like, I just need to see who's winning. Yeah. And I was like, I thought something was wrong. I was like, wait, Dallas won again? Did Dallas won again? The fact that they're up 3-1 is pretty wild to me.
And the best part, Luke, is that they were, Minnesota had a lead in every game with less than 5 minutes to go, and they lost all 3 of them. Like they were up with minimal time left, and then they went away with what got them there, right? Like they kept Cat all of a sudden thinks he's Ray Allen and has one of the worst stat lines in an NBA series history. Was he like? I mean, last night kind of helped him a little bit. He came into the game.
That's the only game he's had that was good. That's the only game he's had that was good.
I was trying to see. He came in last night. He was 4 for 5 from 3 last night, but coming into last night, he was like 5 for 34. Like he had an awful stat line, but he kept really shooting. And last night he kind of found his own. He shot 5 threes, which is still a lot, but he got into paint. He kind of did what he was supposed to do. And look what happens. Minnesota finds a way to win.
He also fouled out though.
I guess that's true.
It was like last night felt like the perfect encapsulation of everything that is frustrating and also good about Cat's game.
Fair.
But I mean, had they not won last night, we would have been talking about what team is he on next year? That's how bad I think it's getting for Cat specifically.
Yeah, I agree. But who's going to take that contract, man? Because he's going to be hard to move because nobody wants that dead money. Nobody wants this big contract for a big who thinks he can shoot, who can shoot sometimes. But
the best shooting big in basketball.
That's it, man. Like, no, you're not. I'd like to introduce you to Dirk Nowitzki, who is your size, but could also actually really shoot. But like, I don't know who's going to take that contract. It better not be Memphis, but I don't know who's going to take that dead money contract away from Minnesota because clearly the future is Naz Reid because he's just an absolute just hooper. Last night, notwithstanding, a kind of rough night last night, but coming in, the first 3 games, like the Naz Reid lineups were a positive plus minus, and we're actually, putting up competitive basketball versus last night. They just kind of clicked, and Kyrie had an off night last night. He wasn't his normal self. Lucas still got his buckets because he's incredible, man. I was listening to a little bit of the Chris Vernon show this morning and some yesterday, but like when he crossed up Rudy Gobert to finish that game, like that's like one of the highlights of my sports watching career. And then what he said to Gobert after, like, I was all in. If I didn't already love Luka, it made him like him that much more.
Man, I didn't think that kind of hate existed in basketball anymore. That's like some 80s, 90s hate where the dude is like, Luka looks at Rudy like he wouldn't like he would run him over if he knew he could get away with it. Like it just he looks at him like he hates his guts.
Well, and Tony Allen made some good points on the Chris Vernon show yesterday on when he was on there on Tuesdays. Like they asked him if he'd ever been trash talked like that, and the worst he could remember was Chris Paul telling him to load the bus after he hit a game winner in the playoffs. And like that's like you say that on the playground.
That yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. But they asked him about that, and like he said, like it's the opposites with Kyrie and Rudy, right? Because all the players love Kyrie, love him as a dude, as a player, and they know he can hoop.
Yeah.
And he is trying to like downplay, oh, he's this criminal villain, whatever kind of guy. And he's made some questionable decisions, notwithstanding. I'm not going to debate that here. But Gobert's the opposite. Like the media loves him, defensive player of the year. He's this hype train, and all the players are like, that dude's kind of a flop. Like he's soft.
Yeah, he's soft. He's soft as baby poop.
That's it, man. He's Charmin.
Charmin soft. Well, and it's two tells, like two ends of the spectrum too, because you've got this Minnesota team where we're talking about these dudes being soft and they're still playing basketball. Whereas in the Eastern Conference, I didn't think there was anything soft about that Pacers team. And they're home. And I think Jaylen Brown even said it in the post game where he was like, people going to talk about this Pacers team like they're not good or whatever. They've made that Boston. That's you talk about another team that was up in 3 of the 4 games.
Yeah,
they had over a 90% chance of winning in games 1, 3, and 4 with 2 minutes left.
Yeah, game 2 was the only blowout where Boston won by 20, and they were clearly just flexing in that game because game 1 came down to overtime and a final couple of shots. That Pacers team is scary, man. Because
they are.
Like Nembhard played his way in probably a starting role next year. You get a full year of Siakam. Halliburton will come back healthy. Like that, Miles Turner. That team is good, man.
TJ McConnell,
really good. TJ McConnell. How can I forget? Great white hype.
Like, our guy.
Right. That's it. One of us. As Uncle Buck would say. But yeah,
that's what
man.
He did the other day.
Like they can hoop, and that's a good team that's going to be a force in the Eastern Conference. They were just ahead of schedule, right? Because they the East was down this year, right? You had a crippled Miami, you had a busted up Milwaukee team. Like you can say all the things you want, but that Pacers team has got some hoopers, and they're going to be good for a while as that core develops. You'll get an off season together. Siakam and Halliburton, those guys can play together for a full off season. Watch out, man! They're going to be good in the East, and plus with a coach like Rick Carlisle, they're only going to continue to get better.
Yeah, he's a lot. For a long time, I thought Carlisle was just kind of that coach that, it's like, man, he's good, but he's past his prime. I think he's more good than he is past his prime. He's a pretty good coach. He's made some this team. The fact that he's got this team as far ahead of schedule as he does, I think speaks pretty highly and speaks volumes about him as a coach.
Yeah, I mean, it ended ugly in Dallas, right? Like he didn't want to. There were some guys he didn't want to play. Yeah. Kyrie, they just kind of ended ugly down there. So I think everybody kind of wrote him off, as just kind of like an old head, like a Bill Belichick, that the game's passed him by, right? But
exactly
all he's done is just adapt and take an Indiana team that has the pieces. Like he didn't just walk into Charlotte and take them in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like Indiana had some pieces, but really accelerated their ramp up to being a competitive NBA team. And had them in the Eastern Conference Finals way ahead of schedule.
Yeah, well, and it's like speaking of coaching, it's you look at Joe Maz, the stats, the winning percentage, that dude has like a 70% winning percentage in the league, and it's like I don't think he's. I'm working on a feature right now. Did you know that it's over 75% of the coaches in the league have won at least 3 playoff games?
No.
Over 75%. Like
wow.
It's just like you'd be surprised. You go down the list. It's just a handful of dudes that haven't won a playoff game, and it's the new hires. It's guys that haven't won a game as a head coach.
Yeah,
or it's Will Hardy, it's Darko, but Joe Maz is sitting there. If you're just looking at winning percentage, he's one of the best coaches in the league right now, and I think that's just not. I think that he's coaching the best team, and he's definitely better than he was last year. But Rick Carlisle outcoached him, I would say, in that series. In terms of coaching.
I don't want to belabor it too much. The fact that he's got 2 superstars and Porzingis and Al Horford, is just and Derek White, and Al Horford, are 2 culture guys. Jrue Holiday is one of the best bench players you'll ever have on any team. You and I could probably coach that team to at least the first round of the playoffs, right?
Boom.
But
yes,
he's 35 years old. 35 years old. He's younger than I am, and way more successful, obviously. But 35 years old, coaching one of the premier franchises in the league with some of the best talent in the league, and has him in the finals again. Yes, Carlisle outcoached him, but he's also probably got 15, years experience on him, something like that.
Yeah.
Right. And so, if not more, and so like the job that he's doing is bang up, right? Like, again, he's benefiting from Jason Tatum, who's one of the best players in the world. Jaylen Brown, who had one of the best series in the Eastern Conference Finals, just stepped up and made a ton of great plays, and some veterans that help. But, you know, shout out Joe Mazzulla. He's doing a fine job.
He's doing better than he did. He's doing way better. I think he's definitely significantly better than he was last year.
Well, you look at the run that they've made, who they beat to get here, right? He beat Spoelstra. They were beat up, but he beat Spoelstra.
Yeah.
And now he's beat Rick Carlisle, like two of the best coaches in the game. Like he got out coached a little bit in that Pacers series, but they found a way to win.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, flipping to the Western Conference too, I think Jason Kidd's done a bang up job. And that was someone that I had kind of written off at, you know, in my mind, it was like Jason Kidd from the Bucks. Like that's kind of what I had pictured, but he has done such a good job with this Mavericks team. And I think Chris Finch is a good coach too.
Sure.
You know, like both on the coaches on the Western Conference side, I'm big fans of, but in terms of what I think just Jason Kidd has, what he's been able to do with Kyrie specifically, I think speaks a lot about him as a coach, because Kyrie ran two coaches out of town, one coach out of town. You know, it's like I don't know if he's the easiest player to coach, but Jason Kidd's doing it, and pretty cool. The only thing that I have, I wish Chris Finch would just bench Cat.
Yeah.
Earlier, that's my biggest. I mean, I think he did bench him at the end of Game 3. I don't want to talk about Cat anymore. But Cat just
we're done. I'll say this. One thing that to watch is Blake Lively, right? With his concussion from where he got his head, you know, mushed like a grape. Like, he's relegated Daniel Gafford to be kind of non-existent. And Gafford had a decent game last night at 12-8, but like, he's not like, Lively's been the spark for that team. And they missed his minutes last night. And so I'm curious to see if he'll be back for Thursday. And even if he is, like, what kind of shape is he in with a concussion that looked, you know, pretty significant, because, you know, that's one of the best things Cat's done for this team is come down on top of his head. But anyway, you know, shout out Lively. Hope you get better for Thursday, man, because they're a much better team with him playing for sure. Yeah,
I hope he's back, because it's like you said, just better basketball with him on the court. We're done talking about the playoffs. We're gonna talk Grizzlies. When we get back, we're gonna talk about Marcus Smart. Just a little bit, you know, some rumors I've heard, just some status. We're gonna just talk about him right after this break.
An anonymous NBA team member says that having the number 1 pick in this year's draft is like essentially drafting Tobias Harris.
Wow.
Which we've both talked about Tobias Harris. I like him as a player. Man, that's kind of harsh. But I understand what he's saying. You don't want Tobias Harris as the number 1 pick in the draft.
Because you look at him and you see what can be. It's just like, just need it all. Can we get it all the time? I just want to see that more. You're talking about some people with some low numbers as being high draft picks. I mean, the draft is just a lot different than what I'm accustomed to. Like, you guys that are going to be averaging 11 points, some guys averaging 9 points. You know, these guys are your top 5 draft picks for the NBA draft.
I don't know, but good luck to them.
Yes.
Dreams will come true.
Well, we will welcome them into the NBA with open arms, especially if we can pronounce the last name.
Tune in to the Night Court Podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Does anyone as a Grizzly fan have the right to cheer for whoever they cheer for in the playoffs, especially when the Grizzlies aren't playing? Yes, right.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't give a flying deep fried shit about who you guys choose to cheer for. I don't. I honestly don't care who you choose to cheer for. When you talk about the grit and grind era, Zach Randolph was that dude to me. He was my favorite player of the era. My second favorite player of the era was Mike Conley Jr.
Right.
And I remember even in covering the team, just some really dope conversations I've had with Mike Conley. He's a super cool dude. You know what I mean? If you choose to cheer for Mike, you definitely have that right. I also have a right to not give a damn about Mike's career outside of being a Memphis Grizzly. Like, I do not care, bro. Like, when Mike Conley got traded to another team, that dude was super happy to be gone. Like, and he has that right as well. The situation that he left, I'm not mad at him for, you know, being happy to get away from it. If he wins one, will I be happy? Will I be hating on him? No. I'll be, hey, that's dope. Mike Conley got a championship. Hey, he's been around for a long time.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome. Am I muted? I might be muted. No, I'm not muted. Welcome back. Shout out new commercials. I popped that on. I was like, what? These are new. You catch those shows, all of these, the whole mess of shows over at bcm.co. Leave the M off. Send you down a weird rabbit hole, I assume, and the internet is scary. Just don't mess with it. Just stay off it. But back to our show. Marcus Smart. This, last week, or what week is it? Last week on the show, I had Daniel Greer on, and we were just talking. I don't even remember what I asked him, but he mentioned Marcus Smart was the first name that he brought up when I asked him. I think we were just asking about the roster, like what we might have been talking about GG, like what this roster is going to look like, blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. Marcus was the first person that he mentioned as probably be a lookout as someone on another team. I've also just Sane has been big on this. There's just a lot of people, a lot of rumors that that I'm just hearing that he might not, I don't want to say long for this world, but his status as a Grizzly may be more uncertain than some of us thought.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sane said that Smart and Kennard won't be back.
Exactly. I think throwing mics everywhere. Mad. I think that the Kennard one I think is a little bit more. That one I don't see as much. The Marcus thing, I think Vince Williams has gone a long way towards rendering Marcus obsolete. So it sucks, but
I got some thoughts on that too. Like, I love Vince. Vince is your favorite player's worst nightmare. He is our he's Tony Allen 2.0, right? Like he is maniacally grinning at Luka and Steph while he's cutting their water off, as Tony is famous for saying, right? I just hope, I agree. Marcus, let me preface all this. I agree. Marcus is probably more valuable to us as a trade asset to get a big for what we need than he is a player. And that's coming from a guy whose cell phone is currently propped on a Marcus Smart phone stand from a giveaway game, right? So like I'm very pro Marcus Smart. All that to say, that's a big contract for some guys that can fill those roles, right? Because Des can score, Vince can defend. I just hope that Vince's small sample size doesn't force us into a rash decision. If we're going to move him, let's move him for something good, right? Let's go get a big that can play. Don't go move him for like a second tier big. Like, go move him for a Wendell Carter Jr. Include him in like a Jared Allen like type level, right? Don't go move him for a backup big. Yeah, well, I also wouldn't be mad if he starts the season on our roster and then we move him later in the year to make sure we have what we think we have in Vince. Again, very pro Vince Williams Jr. Love the dude. I think he's a star, but let's make sure that small sample size can carry over into an 82 game season. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the wisest and the safest course of action. The only thing you're talking about rash decisions, you start looking at the contracts. Marcus is making over 20 million this coming year. And like, it's a lot easier to make trades when you have that as a base of it, as opposed to trying to make Kennard's work with a draft pick and throw in Santi, like 20 million. You can send that to Cleveland for Jared Allen straight up. And
I think you take that phone call. Like that's something that you do, but you don't. That's what I'm saying. Like that's something you do. I don't know that you move him for like. I know everybody was big on Nick Claxton at the end of the year. Like, don't move him for Nick Claxton. Like, go get a big. Don't move him for an Andre Drummond or a Nick Claxton. Go get a Jared Allen type player. I saw one on Twitter yesterday where we made a trade with Houston to move up to get Clingan at 3, and they got Marcus in 9. And like, hey, I'm tired of sending players to Houston. I don't want to send another Grizzly to Houston, but like, I don't love that. Like, you can use Marcus to go get, like, clearly Cleveland is fielding phone calls about one of the premier bigs. There's some questions about toughness and commitment, sure. But when he's on, like, midseason, he was dominant.
He's an all-star.
Right?
He's an all-star.
All-star. And plus, he looks like the dude from the NBA Jam, that old NBA Street video game with the big fro and the headband. And I'm all for that look, man. I love it. But you go moving for somebody like that. Don't waste that salary. And Kleiman and them are smart enough. They're a lot smarter than I am, obviously, because I'm sitting here in my house in East Memphis and not on Beale Street. But I think they'll do the right thing. But I think Marcus is more valuable to us as a trade asset, whether that's now draft night, or I don't see him being a Grizz past next year's trade deadline.
Yeah, well, and you think of the value he brings to other teams as well. Maybe not every team needs a veteran like Marcus Smart on their roster. Every team does. You know, Detroit, put that dude in Detroit and let him shape those guys up. You know, like he has value around the league, even if he's not the same that he was. You know, I think Vince's stats were noticeably better than his last year. Sure. You know, like he's just older. He's older, but I think playing it out safe and, you know, waiting, seeing what you got. See, you know, like see if you can play Jaren at the 5 a little bit with Vince and Gigi. You know, like just play around. Yeah. You know, like you don't need to draft a center. I don't think. I mean, unless they're going to step in and be immediately ready, it's just I don't think that's where we're at. We don't need to develop a guy. I think we're ready with how good the West has gotten. Get someone like Jared Allen and Wendell Carter in here and just go win a chip.
What I would love, and I'm working on a piece as well. I know I committed to write this a long time ago and finally getting around to because of life, but I like Khalil Ware from Indiana. Like the more I watch that kid on tape, we could get him like late first, second round. Like what if we package like Marcus and a 9 or whatever, we move it around and we go get a Jared Allen and another little piece. And then we trade up late and we get Khalil Ware where he's worth it, like into the first, early second, because that kid can hoop. He's bigger than Jaren, but he can move, he can shoot. The more I've looked into him, the more I like his game. So be on the lookout for that piece coming from Bluff City Media from in the next week or so. But I like that kid. That kid can hoop, man.
I forget about the late rounds. You know, in my mind, I'm thinking lottery, but there are some late round.
I like Khalil Ware because he fits better because Edey's feet are made of concrete, and I do not want him in Memphis. I know he likes Memphis, but he just doesn't fit what we're trying to do. And Khalil Ware in Indiana was a great pick and roll guy, but he could also move off the ball, and he's a very athletic big. And so, like that's the name. If you want to do something, trade for a vet big, and then get Khalil Ware later, where you've got more value in a second round pick or a late first.
Jake LaRavia already has concrete feet. I will jump off a building if we get another dude with concrete feet. And I like Jake LaRavia, but we do not give me concrete shoes. Get that out of here. That's for the mafia, not for basketball. That's it. We got 2. You forget about Matthew Hurd, who's been on a 2-way this past year. I mean, my boy is slow-mo, like squared. Like he's slower than Kyle Anderson. Yeah, and shout out Kyle Anderson. Love that dude. Yeah, that dude's great. But he has like not concrete shoes. He still has feet. Those other guys, Edey, and I'm not an Edey hater, but like, slow. We play cool. Fast. Like we showed him at the combine. He ran in a straight line down the court really quick. Awesome. Great job. Cool. Let's watch you move laterally against very athletic bigs like a Joel Embiid, who can also run really fast, but move side to side quick, which he cannot do. Which he's going to have to do. You're going to have to be able to move laterally, and you can't waste a draft pick on that. You just can't. No. We're going to take one more break. And when we get back, we're going to play a game. It's a trap, and this is going to be I think this one's going to be good. This one should be a little bit easier, much more open and shut as opposed to the ridiculous questions I normally ask. But right after this break.
The old dudes are getting up out of here too. The LeBrons are starting to look old. Steph Curry looking old. Kevin Durant, first time ever. Neither one of those 3 guys are in the second round of the playoffs, right? I absolutely welcome the ushering out of the old heads. Like I have this extreme like LeBron fatigue. Like I don't like the way that he's covered by the media, and it makes me tend to not like him. And it's not even his fault. Yeah, it was never his fault. And so moving forward with the new faces of the league, like your Ja Morants and your Luka Doncic's and Anthony Edwards could be part of that conversation. But does the league want to like put him on? Because they're gonna market whoever they want to market, right? And I feel like he's very marketable, but for some reason it seems like the league not leaning into it. Because they know it's a clown. They know it's a clown inside. He gonna say whatever, out, right? He gonna say whatever. From Ja Morant, you better vet these dudes toughly. And the dude who's coming to inbounds and eating Popeyes on street and he on the Bally's mic, bro. The mic is hot, bro. We heard what you just said. They know a clown is in there, man.
Tune in to the Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
The Grizzlies, number 9 in the NBA draft. They're picking 9th, 39th, and 57. Who they getting with those 3? Go.
A veteran from around the league.
Okay.
I mean, I if there's something that they could do with that 9th pick that gets them someone that's already proven, then yeah, because I don't even know who would be thought of as being the 9th best player that's coming out at this point. I have no idea who that person would be, but I know this team, in terms of for moving forward, you think in terms of winning a championship, still young enough, and you still want some pieces that are able to help you win right now, not just continue to amass for the future. For the future is right now for this team.
Tune in to the Night Court Podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Man, shout out new commercials. Commercials. I'm just sitting here like, hi, commercials. I'm a weirdo that likes commercials. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. You can catch that show, as always, at bluffcitymedia.co. You can catch the $2 Sports Show. You can catch a whole mess of shows. There's a whole bunch of them. Back to our show, though. It is Wednesdays, and on Wednesdays, we like to play a little game in honor of our dear Admiral Akbar. It's a trap. It's a trap. For those uninitiated, the game, I will give a series of questions. Half of them are real with an answer. Half of them are totally fabricated. You do not have to answer correctly. You just have to say if it's real or if it's trap. You know you're good at this. You're not like Daniel gets on here and just starts screaming stuff. And it's like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? You don't even come on, man. You ain't even reading. You ain't even listening. All right. Question number 1. Oh, well, I guess I should preface this. The first topic, today's topic. Bill Walton passed away over the weekend. RIP, pretty awesome dude. You know, my redhead brother, great, my deadhead dude. It just seems like a really cool guy whose body just could not stick with it. It really sucks. You know, like seeing someone's body break down on them is like one of the worst things you can see. And this dude just maintained. I mean, Verno talked about it. He always said that he used to say that he was the luckiest guy in the world. And just so cool. That sort of attitude is just seems like a really cool guy.
They replayed the interview with Bill Walton on Verno's show yesterday from 2019 when he accepted an award from the National Civil Rights Museum for his work in civil rights and racial equality. Phenomenal interview. I was listening to it this morning at the gym. Do yourself a favor, go listen to it. It's incredible. I lost a gem for the game and just a humanitarian, just a great guy. Always great for a soundbite, always great for a clip. But just like you said, great human, great basketball player. And so RIP to one of the game's great, Bill Walton.
Yeah. Gonna miss you, dude. Like I'm talking like I knew him. RIP, bro. All right, we're gonna play a game in honor of him. So 10 of these questions, or some of them are real, some of them are not. Let's get it. All right. In which year was Bill Walton inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Good job. See, you're not even going to try. You're like, yes. All right. Question 2. What university did Bill Walton attend where he led the team to 2 NCAA championships?
Yes, UCLA. One of them was against Memphis State. So he was an enemy of the state here in Memphis for a long time.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I know things.
You know things. I'm going to give you 2 points for that one. All right. What was the name of the high school where Bill Walton played basketball before college?
Yes.
I
don't know.
I saw you were like, I don't know. All right. In what year did Bill Walton win the NBA slam dunk contest?
It's a trap.
It's a trap. You get it. It's a trap. It's a trap. Okay. Which European basketball team did Bill Walton play before the NBA?
It's a trap.
Oh, I gave it up. Dang it. It was a trap. Okay. Dang it. Come on. Which team? Sorry, I got focus. Which team selected Bill Walton as the first overall pick in the 1974 NBA draft?
It's a trap. He wasn't first overall.
Oh, he was first overall.
Oh, I didn't think he was.
Yeah, by the Blazers. See,
I knew it was Portland, but I didn't think it was first overall. Wow.
You got time. You can rebound. Which NBA team did Bill Walton win the NBA Sixth Man of the Year award in 1986?
Yes.
Yep. Celts. All right, yeah, but Bill Walton was known for his skills in another sport and won an Olympic gold medal in it. What was it?
It's a trap.
It is a trap. I imagine it would have probably been volleyball.
Volleyball would be good, but he seems also off the rail. Like it would be like curling or something because he's just so out there.
Just like
That's it, man. He was a great sweeper. I do too, man. Great sweeper.
Great sweeper. What was the title of Bill Walton's first rap album released in 1990?
It's a trap.
It's a trap. I don't know. I don't think he ever rapped a day in his life. Could be wrong. He doesn't seem like the rapper, being a deadhead and whatnot.
Doubtful.
Bill Walton starred in the 1985 action movie as a former basketball player turned vigilante. What was the movie called?
It's called It's a Trap.
It's called It's a Trap. Subtitle Slam Dunk Justice is what I would call it. Something similar. In 1968, Bill Walton was featured on the cover of the video game Dunk Dynasty. True or false?
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
False.
I don't think Dunk Dynasty is a video game. If it is, give me credit for it if people make it because that's cool.
Absolutely.
That's dope. Bill Walton won his first NBA championship. What team was he on?
Yeah. Portland?
Yeah, Portland.
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, my brain glitched there for a second. You just like you feel like you're in the Matrix and your brain. I'm like when I start switching a little bit, I glitched there.
I thought your head was going to start spinning. I was like, was he okay? Okay.
This hasn't taken effect yet.
No, you're good. Bill Walton double majored in astrobiology. True or false?
It's a trap.
It's a trap. I don't know. I don't think he double majored. I don't think astrobiology, I think, is a thing. Bill Walton's son, Luke Walton, had a career as a player and a coach. Which team did he win a championship as a player?
Ooh. It's a trap.
No, real.
Oh, he won a title with who?
Yeah, I think Lakers.
Oh, that's right. He was one of those bench guys on some of those.
One of those random. Yeah, he was just random. I don't think he played. It'll be like X if he wins a ring.
Right.
No shade on X. Chronic health issues plagued Bill Walton throughout his professional career. True or false?
True.
Boom. Bill Walton is known for his love of a particular rock band, often mentioning them in his commentary, and was known to have seen them, I think, over 1,000 times.
That's true. He was a deadhead.
Man, 1,000 times is crazy. Do you know how many? Do you know how much secondhand cannabis you would be around? I don't. I mean, I don't know. I assume Bill Walton probably partook. Being from Portland and having health problems and being a deadhead.
I'm pretty sure he'd give Willie Nelson a run for his money.
Yeah, he would. Giving Willie Nelson a run for his money. That's good. All right, last question. Bill Walton designed a popular line of sneakers in the 1980 known as Walton's Warriors.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. You're right. That's going to do it for all these questions. You did good. You answered one correctly, and you were really right about the Memphis shout out. So that's going to give you bonus points, but you also took some demerits because you answered some incorrectly. So, but they cancel each other out. So you get a perfect score. Good job.
Let's go. And I glitched. So,
and you glitched. So maybe for those listening, if you come on the show and play the game, just glitch. You'll win. That's going to do it for us today. Thank you, brother, for hopping on after the technical difficulties. Shout Jim yesterday. I'm glad we could make it happen today. Thank you for those at home. I'll be back tomorrow. Rusty may be back with me one day this week. I don't know. I haven't talked to him yet. We're going to figure that out. We play fast and loose here, but we will figure it out. Remember 2 things today as I leave you. Remember to smile and remember to be a little weird. See y'all tomorrow, friends.